The morning sun yawned over the lush hills of ancient Etruria, its gentle rays brushing the tops of olive trees with strokes of gold. Tiny birds flitted from branch to branch, their songs soft, like whispers from the earth itself. Beneath this symphony of nature, the village awoke in a slow, rhythmic dance of daily life. The air was cool, fragrant with a hint of rosemary carried from the nearby fields, mixing with the earthy scent of wet clay. Far from the bustle of larger cities, this Etruscan village was a sanctuary where pottery was not just a craft, it was a way of life. Each villager had a role to play in the craft that defined them. Potters, with their skilled hands and keen eyes, were respected for their knowledge and ability to turn raw earth into objects of beauty and function. As the sun climbed higher, children laughed and played between citrus trees, their youthful voices a background melody to the workers already busy at their wheels. Women prepared the early meal, a breakfast of coarse bread, sweet with honey and tart with goat's cheese, a simple harmony of flavors that sustained bodies and tightened bonds. Along the outskirts of the village, the potter's workshop lay bathed in morning light. It was neither grand nor humble, its earthen walls merging seamlessly with the surrounding landscape. Inside, the air was humid, rich with the aroma of wet clay and faint smoke from last night's fire. Tools of every size and shape were arrayed with care, waiting to be called into the day's service. Stones for grinding, brushes made from the local flora, and wooden paddles sat within reach, each one bearing the marks of countless days spent shaping and reshaping. The roofing, made of reddish tiles, sloped gently, shedding raindrops from the last night's shower, still clinging like crystal tears soon to be dried by the warming sun. Potters prepared their working space, each one methodically organizing their tools, their movements deliberate yet unhurried. They understood the clay held its own rhythm, unfurling slowly with each rotation of the wheel, a timeless dance across centuries. This was a place of whispered stories passed down generations, anecdotes etched on the surfaces of amphorae and bowls. A young apprentice gently placed an unfinished vase onto a folding table, its ceramic form still pale and soft. Beside him, an elder potter with silver hair began to shape her own piece with hands that knew the secrets of the soil. She spoke softly, sharing wisdom not through words alone, but with every silent action, every touch of clay. The village was a portrait painted by the rising sun, a place of soft hues, textures, and lines. Green vines, heavy with promise, climbed the walls of homes, their shadows playing with the morning light. Birds dipped and soared, sketching arcs against a sky of bright blue, unblemished by the passing clouds. An elder ambled to a bench beside a small fig tree, nodding in greeting to the sky, to the earth, as a tendril of wind brushed his face like an old friend. Nearby, a creek sang its endless refrain, a twinkling melody of water over pebbles, while the scent of wild herbs mingled with the mud banks, an aromatic chorus to the breath of morning. The art of life here was simple yet profound, and filled with the unhurried elegance of nature's cycles. For the Etruscans, time was a slow river, patient and deep, with the village in sync, moving to its measured, eternal flow. As the potter's wheels turned, so did the world. Time was meted in rotations and heartbeats, each moment an intricate weave of presence and anticipation. Clouds, wispy and thin, drifted lazily across the horizon, promising a clear day ahead, perfect for drying clay and spirits alike. Men and women exchanged nods, smiles, walking alongside one another with purpose and peace. The clinking of tools sent calming vibrations through the workshop, notes of contentment humming in copper and bronze. From a distance, their song joined the buzzing of bees, sampling the blooms of an overgrown lavender bush. The village thrived in this constant, harmonious dialogue between humanity and nature, sustained by the beat of routine. The life of a potter was one of patience, each creation a testament to the slow unfolding of skill and vision. Clay, once cold and heavy, became warm, receptive under the guidance of mindful hands. This alchemy, silent yet profound, was a conversation with the soul of the earth itself, represented through vases, bowls, and plates, waiting to adorn humble tables. And thus, Etruria opened another idyllic day, the village sipping the light like honey wine. As the sun climbed higher still, the footpaths began to glow underfoot, each step echoing softly across the years with tales untold, lives well lived, and the ever-present song of the earth beneath their feet. In the gentle embrace of a mild afternoon, the potters of Etruria turned their attention fully to the task at hand. Fingers deftly manipulated mounds of clay, coaxing it from shapeless masses into nascent forms of utility and beauty. Each touch was a conversation, a wordless exchange between artisan and element, guided by skill honed over years amid the rhythm of spinning wheels. The workshop, alive with a serene energy, seemed to breathe in time with the potter's movements. Here, every scrape of tool against clay was purposeful, crafting an enduring symphony of creation. Some artisans preferred wooden tools, their surfaces smooth and worn, carrying whispers of generations past. Others chose sleek metals, gleaming under the forgiving light which filtered through high windows, painting delicate shades upon the walls. Nearby, apprentices huddled, eyes wide with the kind of eagerness that only youth can bring. They watched, absorbed as their mentors' hands skimmed over the yielding surfaces. In this temple of creation, instruction was given quietly, like gentle ripples extending across a still pond. These teachings were not hurried. Knowledge here was passed like an heirloom, cared for with reverence and timeless fidelity. The clay itself was sourced from the ancient riverbed, a fine silt gathered from banks where willows played with the breeze. It offered a unique texture, both obstinate and yielding, demanding respect yet inviting improvisation. As it twirled on the wheel, speckles of mineral showed through, tiny galaxies embedded deep within. From outside, the fragrance of nearby lemon groves mingled with the earthy scent of the clay, creating an aroma both refreshing and grounding. The murmur of bees and the distant bleating of goats created a soft backdrop to their endeavors, nature's quiet applause for their work. Labor here was not burdensome, but rather a loving dance of hands and heart, entwined with the cycle of seasons. One artisan shaped a new vessel, her fingers deftly redirecting the wheel's smooth revolutions, silent dedication etched in her focused gaze. Around her, other artisans added intricate details, a band of geometric designs, the grace of a looping handle, the slightest twist in a lip, all elements imbued with the soul of their creator. Echoes of laughter occasionally drifted through the open doorway, where a gentle breeze carried tales of relaxed conviviality. The clay responded to the moods, sometimes yielding immediate form, other times insisting on more patience, a little more love. A reminder of how art and life coalesce subtly over time. Nearby, elder potters took breaks to sip fermented barley ale, whose nutty bitterness countered the sweet labor of their day. Smoking fires received the creations one by one, releasing an unspeakable richness that infused the air, where every scent seemed an age-old memory folded gently into the present. As the sun dipped lower, shadows lengthened like the thoughtful sighs of twilight's approach. Moistened hands paused, gently wiped on linens, leaving marks of their toil visible only to those who knew their language. Conversations mellowed into softer murmurs, moments stretched to golden hours when everything was in its place. Through the open windows, distant sounds of the river carried, gentle and unwavering as it journeyed past stones older than memory. It was a fitting reminder of life's continuity, the constancy of change, and the serenity found therein. Each vessel, each bowl, a testament not just to labor, but to connection, connecting people to their legacy, their earth, and each other. As the wheels slowed and the last warm rays of sun gilded terracotta surfaces, the village quietly absorbed another day of artistry and kinship. Tools were rested, Benches cleared, and the promise of tomorrow's creations lingered gently in the air, a hush before the vibrant whispers of dew-kissed dawn. As afternoon settled into evening, the potters of Etruria prepared for the most communal of tasks, the firing of their creations. Within the heart of the village lay a kiln, an ancient structure of brick and stone, its shape like a crouched sentinel of time. The kiln's opening ceremony was revered, akin to a festival attended by villagers eager to witness the transformation of clay into enduring art. Families gathered, children perched on shoulders, their eyes wide with anticipation, ready to witness the subtle alchemy of fire. The potters, holding their fragile works with great care, moved in a quiet procession towards the kiln. Laughter and gentle banter wove through the crowd, knitting a fabric of shared experience, binding each member to the moment. The kiln itself, fed by seasoned olive wood, exhaled smoky tendrils into the dusk. Its warmth spread outwards, mingling with the cool evening, creating a cocoon of comfort around those gathered. Sparks danced at the mouth of the kiln, like fireflies caught on the breeze, echoing the people's excitement and reverence. As each piece was placed carefully inside, the mood was one of suspense and hope. Once filled, the kiln was meticulously sealed. The elders, respected for their wisdom and experience, oversaw this phase, chins stained with smoke's memory, eyes reflecting the flames. They spoke of past firings, tales that had become part of village lore. Within these stories, every pot once shattered was a lesson, every flawless glaze a triumph worthy of retelling. As the flames licked higher, the shared camaraderie grew. Food and drink were brought forth, a spread of humble yet heartwarming fare. Loaves of bread adorned with aromatic herbs, bowls filled with ripe figs, and jugs of newly pressed olive oil that shone golden as the setting sun. Villagers reminisced, voices soft and rhythmic, with tales of yore and laughter accompanying each bite. As dusk deepened, the sounds of stringed instruments broke the evening silence. Music wrapped around the gathering, a melody simple yet profound, reflecting the harmony of village life. Hands clapped, feet tapped, overcoming the crackle of the burning wood. With each crescendo and decrescendo, hearts beat in unison, dancing to the rhythm of their collective breath. Nearby, an artist knelt, drafting new designs within the sand, her fingers tracing patterns inspired by the stars emerging overhead. Each line she drew was a promise to the future, a memory yet to be shaped by the hands of children watching beside her, their dreams as limitless as the skies. As villagers gathered around the warmth of the kiln, the air glittered with embers that lifted skyward as if reaching for the starlit canopy. Both the young and old sat enthralled, capturing the blend of anticipation, bonding, and shared human endeavor that marked these evenings of fire and clay. The hours stretched lazily into night, with soft discussions interwoven amongst the crackling branches. The fire, once fierce and commanding, settled to a steady burn, a heart of warmth cradled in ancient earth, encapsulating day's work and nature's bond. In its glow, faces softened, reflecting an ancestral serenity shared across generations. Parents, eyes heavy with the embrace of the late hour, carried sleeping children back to their homes. The songs lingered softly, a gentle hum on the breeze, resonating still in the slumbering landscape. The kiln whispered goodnight, holding within the promise of discoveries to come with morning. And so the village rested against the backdrop of a glistening night, every soul nestled in the gentle assurance of community, of an ancient craft woven with care into the pages of time. Within the peace of these quiet hours, the fires of pottery and spirit kindled together, alighting dreams that would carry them all into another faithful dawn. As the first light of dawn stretched across the Etrurian sky, a gentle anticipation filled the village once more. The kiln, still warm to the touch, awaited the morning unveiling. The sun, peeking over the horizon, cast long, gentle beams that touched the earth like a lover's caress, warming the ground as villagers slowly gathered around the kiln. Rested from a night of dreams woven from shared stories and songs, they were ready to witness the transformation of clay into cherished artifacts. The kiln, a fortress that had guarded the secrets of the night, was carefully unsealed. Each stone was removed with caution and reverence, the potter's hands moving in tandem with the light wind brushing against their faces. The first breath of cooled air escaped its depths, carrying with it the scent of earth and smoke, a promise of stories yet to unfold. Inside lay the fruits of their labor, each piece a testament to time and skill, emerging from the shadow as if waking from a deep slumber. The villagers peeled back the layers, revealing pottery in hues that mirrored the earth, terracotta warmed by the sun's eternal embrace, bowls and vases with the gloss of dew-kissed leaves. Glassy surfaces caught and reflected early light with gentle brilliance, revealing intricate motifs and carefully applied colors. The atmosphere was electric in its quiet wonder, each discovery met with soft exclamations of joy and shared understanding. Potters took turns extracting their creations, each touch both delicate and deliberate. Amongst themselves, they exchanged knowing smiles, silent acknowledgments of artistry fulfilled. Here, by the kiln, every shard was a memory crystallized, secured against the whispers of the breeze. Families and friends gathered to celebrate the morning's treasures. Children, their eyes wide with curiosity, ran their fingers tenderly along the smooth edges of new vessels. The promise of holding such an object seemed magic in their young hands, fueled by the tales they had heard and the dreams they still spun. Elder villagers advised, reminiscing on their youthful days when clay first spoke to them of possibilities. The potters moved each piece with care to a sunny patch, allowing them to fully bask in the gift of the day. Nearby, herbs warmed by the growing sun released their scents, a fragrant reminder of life's simple pleasures. This moment, suspended in time, was a culmination of shared endeavors, reflecting the heart of the village's existence. As morning wore on, stories of the previous night were recounted once more, with new tales born from these newly fired treasures. An amphora bearing spirals, reminiscent of ocean waves, became a catalyst for memories of distant travels, while a jug with a sunburst pattern invoked gratitude for a bountiful harvest yet to come. Lunch was shared under the protection of olive trees, their thrumming leaves providing a canopy for laughter and connection. Fresh bread, this time dipped in fragrant oil, was passed among them, uniting potter, apprentice, elder and child in a symphony of tastes that further rooted them to their day. Every meal was a rite of unity, a grounding ritual sustained through passing generations. As the sun reached its zenith, gifting the world with its full radiance, the pottery glittered in appreciation. Such artifacts carried not only the memory of their makers, but the eternal thread of connection to the land from which they came. The village stood as a testament to this ancient dance of creation, awaiting stories yet to be lived with each vessel used, each meal served, each hand that touched their smooth forms. And so, another chapter of life in Etruria unfolded, where art and existence twined in effortless harmony. Beneath the whispering olive branches and within the hearthfire's embrace, the community found its anchor in the steadfast rhythm of making and being, always in tune with the earth's gentle call. With the passing of morning, a sense of purpose filled the air as preparations began for market day. The potters of Etruria, with their newly fired creations, sought to share their art with neighboring villages, each piece a whisper molded in clay. The market was not just a place of trade, but of stories and friendships, where goods exchanged hands as easily as mere greetings, binding people to a shared tapestry. The village hummed with activity, every corner alive with anticipation. Pots and urns, their glazed surfaces shimmering with the day's youthful light, were wrapped in soft cloths that carried the scent of lavender. Careful hands packed them into hand-woven baskets lined with straw, each one treated with reverence akin to sacred objects. The rhythmic clattering of preparation created a cadence that intertwined with murmurs of excitement. Carts loaded with pottery trundled down the beaten paths, their wooden wheels creating a comforting, familiar creak. The earth, warm and forgiving beneath them, left small puffs of dust in their wake. Alongside the pottery rode casks of freshly pressed olive oil, clusters of grapes gleaming in the sun, and loaves sprinkled with fragrant herbs. A cornucopia offered to those who gathered where paths met and lives intersected. As the village emptied onto the road, traveling alongside these offerings, the world expanded beyond the embrace of Etruria's familiar hills. The journey was a time for reunion and exchange, wherein stories were freely offered, distances were shortened, and fellowship was steady as the sun overhead. Children ran ahead, their laughter a beckoning light that dazzled those who followed. Upon arrival, the market was a tapestry of life, threads woven from every possible hue and texture. Merchants from far and wide had gathered, offering silks that shimmered like water, spices whose scents seduced the senses, and artisans with woven baskets that told stories in every stitch. The air was festive with vibrant tunes accompanied by the playful symphony of bartering voices. Underneath a canopy of breezy cloth, the potters set up their stall. Their creations, laden with the heart of Etruria, formed a radiant collection, intuitively placed to catch the eye of passers-by. Bowls spoke of oceans, jugs reflected skies, each piece an invitation to delve deeper into the history of earth-made beauty. As villagers and travelers alike paused to admire these treasures, conversations weaved seamlessly into interactions. Around them, the market pulsed with a rhythm cultivated from bass notes of clinking coins and high flutes of laughter. Young couples examined wares with quiet wonder. Elders experienced perennial joys through these familiar rituals, and the scent of roasting courgettes and honeyed apples lingered in the air. Each exchange was a step in a timeless dance, one foot in the past, another poised for future connections. Stories from beyond the hills found listeners eager and attentive as travelers shared tales of distant lands, vast seas, and wondrous sights. The market was a place where knowledge was as freely bartered as goods, giving to all the shared wealth of shared lives. Ties strengthened, grew roots, inviting all who gathered to partake in a grander sense of belonging. As shadows lengthened, the sun a golden disk on the horizon's edge. The market wove together an intricate fabric of shared experiences. The potters gathered the coins of their labors and tucked their remaining pottery back into their carts, satisfied by the warm reception and eager for the stories and memories they had received in return. The journey back was marked by calm contentment. As stars pierced the deepening sky, they retraced steps homewards, the vessel of Etruria filled with tales and promise. Echoes of the day were stitched into memory, crafting a seamless panorama on which their lives unfolded, grounded by their ancient art. The night whispered familiar. All was calm, all was well. The shared endeavors of the day lasted beyond the market stalls, adding to the continuous weave of life that was ever present, waiting always to embrace the dawn and the dust and dreams of clay. As the returning villagers approached the periphery of Etruria, the smell of sweet wood smoke greeted them, curling upwards into the dusky embrace of evening. The village had prepared for their return with a feast, an expression of unity, a celebration knit from the day's endeavors. Flickering torches lined the pathways, small beacons inviting all home with warm, nurturing light. Tables, crafted from sturdy oak, polished by years of convivial gatherings, were set under a canopy of olive branches. The bounty of the land adorned each surface. Figs piled high in wooden bowls, roasted root vegetables arranged with care, and loaves still warm, their crusts whispering promises of grain and sun. Dishes seasoned with fragrant sage and thyme filled the air with an aroma befitting a royal banquet. Families gathered, settling into the joyous noise of evening. Laughter cascaded like rivulets over stones, gentle yet powerful, forming a melody that underscored the bubbling of wine being poured into awaiting cups. The potters, returning from the market, were welcomed with hugs and a clamor of greetings, a reminder that their work touched not only the physical, but the soulful elements of village life. Children darted between tables, their cheeks flushed with excitement, fingers sticky with the remnants of honeycomb. They were drawn to the potters, who shared tales of market day encounters, an artist from faraway shores, a wanderer with tales of creatures of the sea, each story a bead strung on the endless thread of youth's imagination. With music lilting from lute and lyre, the feast unfolded like petals, unfurling in the dawn, a graceful, unhurried blossoming. Songs were sung, their haunting melodies borne on the night air, weaving together harmonies that spoke of past triumphs and yet-to-be-lived dreams. The notes drifted upwards, mingling with the stars as they took their places in the infinite sky. Around the tables, stories flowed as freely as wine, tales etched in the present moment, echoing in the warmth of candlelight. Voices rose and fell in easy camaraderie, gestures animated against the moon's gentle glow. Shared laughter crafted a tapestry of togetherness, each thread tied with love and lingering whispers of past days. The elder potters, reservoirs of wisdom tempered by time, shared anecdotes of their mentors, the rhythm of their ancestors in each phrase. Younger listeners leaned closer, enamored by every word, eager to stitch these tales into their own unfolding narratives. Thus, the feast became a lecture hall where lessons were imparted not through sternness, but through the joyous communion of community. As plates emptied, the evening's climax neared, a dance around the fire. Flames leaped and swayed, casting shadows that danced alongside the villagers. Feet moved with the abandon of spirits unbound, the fire's warmth enveloping all, binding each soul in the sacred rhythm of humanity, united beneath the celestial canopy. Hours passed like a dream in soft focus, gentle and slow. Couples swayed, elders rested, and children curled asleep in the comfort of familiar voices. Even the breeze joined the celebration, carrying the crisp promise of nighttime coolness, untroubled by memory's burden. With the fire dwindling, embers glowed like a memory's afterglow, gentle and constant. The villagers lingered in the fading warmth, hearts full, filled with gratitude for shared stories and the promise of tomorrow's clay. A seamless dance of continuum that was timeless by nature. As they bid each other good night one by one, they carried with them the quiet assurance of community, of shared artistry, of whispers from clay and fire. Their stories carried them home, and beneath the amphitheater of stars, Etruria slept to the lullaby of its own enduring heart. In the soft hush before dawn, when night gracefully released her hold on the world, the potters of Etruria woke gently to the song of the morning. Birds stirred among the olive trees, offering the first notes of welcome, their calls a reminder of the continuity threading earth and sky. Each potter cherished this private time, cocooned in solitude, where artistry mingled with the simplicity of waking. The potter's wheel waited, a steadfast companion, holding the promise of new beginnings molded from memory and possibility. In these solitary moments, the connection between mind, hand, and clay unfurled slowly, like the first light over the horizon. The silence was not empty, but abundant, filled with the potential of clay, yet spun, vessels yet formed. As sunrise painted the landscape in hues of amber and rose, one could hear the rhythmic hum of wheels resuming their gentle spin. Clay, still cool and damp, was met with calloused hands that caressed its curves with the tenderness of familiarity. The potter, alone yet surrounded by the spirit of those who came before, embraced the intimate nature of creation. Thoughts traversed between past teachings and present endeavors, wondering which lessons would sculpt their journey today. Tools, lovingly worn and perfectly balanced, were chosen with intention. Each potter's method was as unique as their fingerprint, smoothing, etching, applying designs born of dreams scribed in midnight stillness. A melody of scraping clay and whirring wheels filled the workshop, underscored by the occasional birdsong. It was a soft symphony, a quiet reminder of the symbiosis between human and element. Through steady breath and focused gaze, the transformation from raw earth to expressive form was orchestrated with simple grace. This moment of creation was a cherished pause in the greater narrative of village life. Here, each potter found balance, an assurance that their work held significance beyond utility. In each piece lay their heart's imprint. The clay, like an unspoiled canvas, welcomed their visions, holding within its embrace the essence of existence itself. As the first rays of morning passed through open windows, golden patterns danced across tables lined with fresh pieces. They lightly kissed vases and bowls now birthed into being, surfaces dappled with shadows of the eucalyptus leaves that swayed lazily outside. These patterns were fleeting, captured only if one had the quietness of spirit to see them. With every completed turn of the wheel, another work was born, breathing in the Oppidan air full of whispers from ancient times. These vessels would soon journey into hands that would cradle, drink, and feast from their solidity, a bridge from past to future through simple forms imbued with significance. As the workshop absorbed the fullness of dawn, the potters paused, moved by the reverence surrounding their craft. They found deep solace in the delicate objects arising from their labor, symbols of endurance and hope sculpted from the earth's embrace. Their solitude, like a gentle tide, receded into the shared heartbeat of village life. Their calm reflections came not with urgency but with peace, as if the very clay whispered the promise of eternity in their attentive ears. Behind every fold, each curvature, was stitched a reminder of humanity's intimate dialogue with its domain, an exchange woven in the dance of hands and heart, destined to stretch beyond memory. Thus, enfolded in the soft breath of morning, they awaited the day's flourishing, steadfast in the knowledge that their craft tied them together, to each other, and to the world that patiently held their dreams aloft. With the dawning of a new day, a serene energy flowed through the potter's workshop as they turned their attention to the art of glazing and painting their creations. Each piece had emerged from the kiln, a blank canvas, waiting to be adorned with the vivid hues inspired by the natural beauty surrounding the village of Etruria. This delicate dance of colors was where the artistry of the potter truly shone, transforming simple clay into vibrant expressions of life. The workshop hummed with the gentle noise of preparation as pigments were ground using stones milled smooth by years of tender labor. These colors, drawn from earth and flora, held an ancient wisdom. The deep reds of ochre, ultramarine blues extracted from lapis, and the muted greens of malachite told storied histories of the lands from which they came. Mixed with water and the steady rhythm of a hand, they were prepared to bring the potter's visions into vivid reality. Outside, the sunlight sifted through a canopy of almond blossoms, their faint fragrance a gentle accompaniment to the task at hand. The potters, absorbed in their craft, relied on the elements of nature for inspiration, transferring the essence of the world around them onto their clay canvases. With each brushstroke, the village flora and fauna came to life, capturing the vibrant essence of Etruria in delicate detail. The potters worked in a quiet symphony, each stroke a meditation upon the piece's purpose and charm. Paintbrushes crafted from goat's hair moved with grace over the clay surfaces, translating thoughts into figures and patterns. Each depiction was a personal exploration. Scenic vignettes unfurled across bowls, intricate geometric designs echoed upon jars, and stylized flora-decorated cups destined to hold the vineyard's best offerings. Inspiration flowed effortlessly from the surrounding landscape. The lush green vineyards, the vibrant yellows of mustard flowers dotting the countryside, and the deep earth browns of the hillsides. The natural palette was rich, thriving, and endless. It's through this lens that the potters infused beneath the glaze a living symphony of Etruria's spirit. With the colors applied, the pottery was set to rest under the forgiving warmth of the midday sun. There they would dry gently before their next kiln journey, the final firing that would fuse their stories into permanence. The transformation of glaze, known and anticipated, was to turn the matte paint into a glossy reflection of life and light, a silent promise held within each vessel. As they waited, the potters gathered in the shade of the cypress trees, sharing a meal of ripe melon and cheese, accompanied by fragrant rosemary bread still warm from the hearth. Their conversation wandered through plans for future pieces and reflections upon past successes, always mingling laughter with wisdom as they replenished their spirits for the work ahead. By afternoon, the sun dipped in the sky, casting long shadows that danced across the workshop floor. It was time to prepare the kiln for its steady, patient work of melding earth and imagination into unwavering form. With careful hands, each piece was placed once more among familiar, comforting embers. Encased in the kiln's protective embrace, they would endure the transmutation that rendered colorful clay into enduring art. As the kiln's heat rose, radiant and steady, the potters found themselves reflecting on the beauty coaxed from their own hands. This serene craft nurtured not only their villages, but their own hearts, tying their lives to the essence of the earth and its myriad expressions. Clay, color, and creativity forged together spoke a language universally understood, in a dance of color that paid homage to life's simple yet profound celebrations. In this timeless embrace of clay and pigment, the day concluded. As the shadows pooled into night, the vibrant colors within the kiln whispered gently of the stories they would soon cradle, the lives they would soon witness, with grace and with ease. As the morning sun gracefully ascended, its golden hue bathed the village of Etruria in gentle warmth. The potters, having spent days nurturing their creations, were ready to reveal the glazed pottery to their beloved community. It was a celebration of craft, each piece a testament to the harmony between earth and artistry, life and landscape. Tables were set up in the village square, covered with vibrant fabric woven from wool and flax. The potters, with hearts full of anticipation, began to arrange their glazed pottery, each piece shimmering in the sunlight. Bowls revealed swirling patterns of midnight blue. Vases captured the essence of sun-drenched fields, while the gentle curves of cups sparkled with the brilliance of a spring dawn. Each piece, unique and radiant, silent stories captured in living color. Villagers gathered, a gentle murmur rippling through the crowd as they admired the beauty before them. Faces lit up with joy, the pottery a reflection of their community's soul, tangible evidence of the shared talent rooted in the soil. Children, eyes wide with wonder, reached tentatively to touch the smooth, cool surfaces, marveling at the transformation of humble clay into treasures infused with spirit and craftsmanship. The potters stood together, a collective embodiment of skill and heritage, their expressions humble yet proud. They watched as friends and family circled the displays, pleased to see their work appreciated, acknowledging the deep connection between maker and receiver. Nearby, the elders shared stories of pottery past, of ancestors whose hands had shaped similar vessels, keeping the traditions alive through time. As the day unfolded, discussions ebbed and flowed, drifting past generations, exploring dreams. Conversations were filled with reminiscence and laughter, the pottery a focal point of shared history. Each gift became a bond, weaving the individuals closer, fostering an appreciation for the quiet beauty of creation. A soft breeze carried the scent of blooming lavender and fresh citrus, adding its own layer to the day's festivities. Under its caress, the village bustled with the gentle rhythm of contentment, the necklaces of ivy adorning the tables, dancing delicately in the wind's embrace. It was a scene that painted the unity of human and nature upon the canvas of communal life. Throughout the afternoon, the sun stood high, its brilliance glancing off the glazed surfaces of the pottery, casting playful shadows that danced with passing clouds. As villagers made their selections, each piece taken home as a reminder of the collective spirit, they expressed gratitude, not only for the objects, but for the bond they represented. Nearby, musicians began to play, their instruments joining seamlessly with the heartbeat of the day. Gentle tunes filled the air, strings plucked softly, melodies tracing the pathways of friendship and echoes of past joys. The music wrapped around the village like a tender embrace, marrying sight and sound in a harmonious celebration of life and art. As evening approached and the sky blushed into twilight, tables, once adorned with pottery, were now lined with cheese, fruits and bread, strewn with the whispers of the sun's farewell. A shared meal commenced, marked by laughter and quiet contentment, reinforcing a bond that had fortified Etruria through time's flowing river. The day's festivities came to a tranquil close as stars gently revealed themselves, set high in a velvety, endless sky. Villagers quietly dispersed, taking their new treasures home, each piece a luminescent thread in the intricate tapestry of their lives. As night folded around Etruria, the potters retired, hearts filled with the warmth not only of their work, but of their collective existence within the rhythmic cadence of a world beautifully made. Thus, under the watchful eye of the sun that had given them so much, they found rest, lulled by a sense of purpose and lasting peace. As dusk descended, bringing its melodic hues to the village, the potters of Etruria gravitated towards a gentle fire, its crackling embers offering both warmth and solace. Nestled within the circle of its glow, they found themselves bathed in reflection, the flames casting elongated shadows upon their well-worn faces, marking the passage of yet another day filled with purpose and fulfillment. The fire's gentle dance mirrored the simplicity and elegance of their day's work, its flickering tongues capturing the fluidity of creation. The potters settled into a comfortable circle, where words were unhurried and breaths synchronized with the rhythm of the night. Embers floated upwards like wayward dreams carried upon the night breeze, vanishing into a tapestry of stars. Reflecting upon their finished work, they marveled at the journey each pot had undertaken, from malleable earth to enduring art, from simple clay to treasures that captured the essence of their existence. Each piece was a silent testament to their connection with the ground they walked upon, embodying the timeless cycle of nature's gifts and human innovation. Around them, the night hummed with an old, familiar tune, carried on the whisper of leaves, swaying gently in time. The atmosphere was filled with a serene understanding, that unspoken bond amongst those who shared a singular path, chasing beauty born of simplicity. Laughter mingled with thoughtful silence, creating a gentle cadence that affirmed the soul of their community. Stories drifted lazily on the air. Tales were told of past masters famed for their creations, of old friendships forged in days of clay and fire, now relics commemorated in every work. Younger potters listened intently, their eyes reflecting both the firelight and the future possibilities they imagined with every tale. As the evening wore on, thoughts turned to what lay ahead. Sketches were drawn in the dirt, fingers tracing out the next design, inspired by the intricacies of star patterns arching across the sky. Each vision scribed into the earth was a prelude to tomorrow's musings, whispers of creativity waiting to be harnessed and molded by morning light. In the pause between night and day, they acknowledged the deeper mysteries of fire, the cycle of transformation it held. Flames embodied both the end of one journey and the beginning of another, a parallel to their craft and its enduring place within the lives of those in Etruria. This reflection was a ritual, an affirmation of eternal renewal of the bond between craftsperson, clay, and community. The fire's glow faded gently to soft, glowing coals, its essence distilling into the night air, mingling with the sweet scent of blooming jasmine. As time drew out like a careful note from the lute, discussions quieted into comfortable silence, enveloping them like the gentle plains beyond. Gradually they dispersed, each making their way home under the twinkling canopy, feelings of peace cradled within them, knowing the cycles of earth, creation and community wove them all together. Steps memorized the stone paths leading out in all directions, reuniting each potter with both dreams and the promise of a new day's light. Retiring to their warm hearths and tranquil thoughts, they settled into quiet corners, steeped in the rhythmic lull of night's embrace. The world around them fell into its slumber, humming with dreams yet unfurled. Thus the potters found repose, holding fast to the enduring promise whispered by fire's reflection. Endless, timeless, rooted in the very clay from which their dreams were shaped. As the first light of a new day tenderly began to unfold across the village, Etruria basked in the gentle embrace of dawn's quietude. The potters rose early, drawn to the tranquility that lay beneath the blushing sky. Morning dew, like pearls upon the grass, glistened in soft hues, casting a serene sparkle across the awakening world. It was a time of reflection, of gathering one's thoughts, steeped in the beauty of silence holding infinite promise. The earth, still from the night's slumber, gently yielded beneath the potters' feet as they ventured towards their workshop. The air was cool, fragrant with the delicate musk of dampened soil and hints of blooming wildflowers. Birds began their morning symphony, a sweet and melodic heralding of a new day, each note carrying the freshness of dawn upon its wings. Inside the workshop, the potters found solace in the seamless transition from rest to creation. Their wheel awaited, an old friend attuned to their touch, a collaborator in the quiet dance of clay and dreams. The space was filled with soft light, filtering through open windows, casting golden patches across surfaces waiting to be transformed by careful hands and curated imagination. With the warmth of the sun creeping higher, the potters began to prepare their materials. The spinning wheel's song marked the only interruption in the morning hush, its gentle resonance filling the space with peace. Clay warmed beneath their fingers, soft yet resilient, ready to twist and bend under guidance, each motion inviting simplicity and grace. As their hands moved with the wheel, thoughts wandered like rivulets finding their way through fertile valleys. Their minds embraced both the quiet moments of solitude and the vibrant tapestry of continued collaboration. Desires and visions for future works whispered encouragingly, waiting to be written in the language of clay. Beyond the windows, olive trees rustled softly in the breeze, their shadows playing a fleeting dance upon the worn stone walls. Every creation marked a silent testament to the intricate interplay between artist and earth, merging in steadfast continuity of tradition and innovation within the timeless cycle of life. As time folded upon itself, the potters felt the embrace of both past legacy and future potential, their craft a vital thread in the tapestry of Etruria's essence. Appreciation of simplicity and complexity moved in tandem as they reflected on the peace inherent in their morning solitude. Each piece formed under this light was a secret keeper, witness to their inner thoughts and soulful aspirations. The potter's palms, guided by experience, shaped each vessel, imbuing it with harmony and symmetry, a labor of meditation as much as creation. They carved hope and whispered stories into the clay, gifts to the future wrapped in earthen layers, revealing life's continuity within the bowing embrace of history. As the sun climbed higher, casting vibrant shadows, the potter's work morphed into being, a delicate procession standing proudly in newfound light. Every vessel adorned the space with the anticipation of use, the joy of purpose met. Lines drawn in clay marked their passage, a visual poetry that would remain long beyond the day's gentle unfolding. Observed in content silence, their day was painted in shades of calm purpose, accompanied by the music of their intentions manifesting in form. In these moments of reflection and renewal, the potters found balance, a harmony between the tangible hands and the hearts they led, joined by the symbiotic dance of life, craft, and time. In this quiet morning, the circle continued, echoing through the mists of dawn, where all was at once a beginning, an ending, and the beautiful venture of every moment shared in unison with the world that cradled them.